We are live. What is going on, everybody? Dan and I in the house this morning. Jake, of course, is doing Jake things, but it's very good to see you all this morning. Again, add us, comment, let us know where you're tuning in from. Dan, as always, what is the weather like in Tampa this morning, my man?
Man, we have a bit of a cold front coming through right now, so it's a little rainy, but that should clear up here soon. It is currently a warm 68 degrees.
A warm 68.
Down to the 60s. Tomorrow's a high of 72. Friday, high of 76.
Man, I tell you what, after going down to Florida, man, 2 weeks ago, I don't know. I think I can be an old person and live down in Florida because the weather's so great.
Over the next week is 81, and that's next Wednesday.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Brian, good morning. What's going on? Again, add us, comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We're on a topic today that, you know, Dan and I've talked about, and you know, I've talked individually, and we think it's incredibly important. But essentially, it's knowing your worth, but then also kind of taking off the blinders a little bit when it comes to a job offer, when it comes from just salary. What else should you consider? So, Danny, good morning. What's up, buddy? It's good to see you, man, as always. But we'll get started here in another minute as we, again, talk about this topic that I think is near and dear to both Dan and I's hearts. Dan, anything else happening? Anything else exciting happening? How's Tampa? Is Tampa still like upright after the Buccaneers won?
Yeah, man, we are still hockey season's booming. Lightning odds on favorite to win the Stanley Cup again.
Are they good? Are they good this year?
We won the Stanley Cup last year, and we kept most of our pieces, so we're good again. But man, it is awesome. Tampa's thriving. It's growing. I mean, it's the place to be right now.
I love it. Absolutely. Yeah, then you can have a tan like yourself in February.
Right.
Andrew, what's going on, buddy? It's good to see you. Well, let's go ahead and get rolling today. We're 2 minutes in. Don't want to drag it out any longer. So again, thank you all for tuning to Unicorn Finders, the live edition with just us two. It's typically a 3-person thing. But of course, Jake, our buddy, is doing Jake things in Raleigh. And so Dan and I obviously still want to bring this topic to you all, still meet with you all this morning because it's very important. And also, we just love community. So that's why we're here. But again, if you are not familiar with Unicorn Finders was founded off the fact that Jake, Dan, and I really like each other as friends. COVID hit. We were lonely. So we decided to build this podcast out. And we are over a year later, and we've had some amazing guests from people at AWS. We've had people Netflix. We have our speaker tomorrow at 10 a.m., Kelly Vaughn, founder and CEO of a Shopify e-commerce consulting company in Atlanta. So we've had some pretty cool guests. But the point of today's live is to really just hang out with you all, and also to hang out with me, Dan and Jake, as friends, to just kind of chop it up on a topic. And so today's topic that we're going to dive into is negotiating past the salary. Right. It's not all just salary driven. And so I want to go ahead and dive in. Dan, what are your thoughts when it comes to this topic? What should people be mindful of? And take it away.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Taylor. It's always good to chat with you. I mean, I think the biggest thing that we often see in our business is that a lot of people are so concerned about what that bottom line number is, right? What is my salary, right? It's $50,000, $60,000, $100,000, whatever it might be. And a lot of times people kind of get lost in the negotiation for salary, negotiation for a job offer doesn't have to just be salary. Certainly salary is important, but let's consider what some of the other things. And Taylor, I want to hear about some of the things that you've seen some companies offer in your area. One of the cool things that I've recently saw with one of my clients is that they're offering deferred compensation into paying your student loans off.
Interesting.
So it's a unique way where you don't feel the same burden of trying to pay it off and everything else, and they're giving some extra incentive. I think that they match maybe 1% or 2% of what you put in. But regardless, want to talk about when you're looking at an overall package that a company is offering you, how do you break that down a little bit? So I think we could probably break that into a number of different areas. But obviously the biggest thing that we see is healthcare, right? What are your healthcare costs, right? And I think it's really important that when you're talking about a permanent role is what is not only my expectation on salary, but what is then my expectation of how much money am I going to take to then have to pay for me or for my family's healthcare. And for a lot of companies, they may pay you less in base salary, but might help cover some of those insurance costs a little bit more. So I would say that that's, before you accept an offer, before you figure out an exact dollar amount, you need to figure out what are your out-of-pocket expenses going to be for your healthcare, vision, and dental.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many times, and again, Kathy, good morning. Thanks for tuning in, as always. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I talk to people and I go, hey, what is your monthly benefit cost? And people go, I don't know. And it's like, hey, what is your 401k match or HSA? I don't know. Right. And so I talked about this last week on my live show too. It's you have to do some research on your end. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired, Dan. I'm sick and tired of job seekers who just start looking and who have not done their research beforehand. When I say do their research, I mean do the research on their own for what they currently have. Because I think a lot of times people look and they don't realize how good they have. Right?
There's a lot of that. And people don't realize, especially because a lot of times it just comes out of their paycheck and they're just like, okay, this is what I make, is that they don't often look at what their out-of-pocket expenses are monthly on their W-2, right? Take a look at your latest, payroll statement, right? Or your payroll stub or pay stub. It's going to tell you at the bottom how much money you're taking out every paycheck, right? Yeah. Know those numbers, right? Because you may be leaving a place that covers 100% of your health care, and you're like, yeah, but I got a $15,000 pay increase. It's like, yeah, you want to know how much that health insurance cost you? $18,000. So you just lost $3,000.
Exactly.
Right, and that's before taxes, right? So those are things that you need to be aware and be cognizant of. Right, yeah. It breaks it down on your pay stub. If you haven't looked what you're paying for in your benefits, then take a look. Not now, because you have to look at us, but in 11 minutes.
After we're done, then take a look. A few more people joining in. Pedro's going on. Good way to start a Wednesday. Hey, you know what? I think this is a great way to start a Wednesday as well. So Pedro, thanks for tuning in. Tasha, good morning, everybody. Always healthcare benefits as part of my salary. Willing to take less annual income for more benefits. Yeah, listen, and now I'm working with somebody right now. And then Rod, good morning. I'm working specifically with somebody right now who's like, listen, benefits aren't that important to me, right? I just want the salary. And I'm like, listen, I understand that, but if you're going to go direct hire, you have to take into this account. You have to take those into account. A few more people.
A comment by Andrew down there, and I want to save that one for a few minutes. Don't put it up now. I want to talk about that at the end because I think there's an intrinsic and inherent point that he's making that I think is the most important. But Brian, you make a great point. Changes in health plans have a drastic result on our budget. Don't estimate the importance. You're exactly right. On families with high health care, know what your deductible is going to be, right? Yep. Know all of these things before you accept an offer. And if a company is skittish about giving you that information, you also want to be skittish about what other information they're willing to withhold from you as well. Yeah. Healthcare is the number one cost or number one reason people go bankrupt in the United States. So know why and how much they're covering or what they're going to pay for.
Absolutely.
Beyond that, Taylor.
And then I want to shout out Paquita. I caught it live. The universe is legit smiling today. I love it. Listen. If I'm glad we can make you smile today. That means a lot. I love it. Go ahead, Dan. Sorry for interrupting you.
No. So what else? So obviously, you want to make sure you understand that. I guess PTO is probably next.
Yeah, PTO. I think realizing too, I see a lot of people that message me I got 20 days, 25, 30. It's listen, you have to understand you might not always get the exact same PTO bouncing from one place to another. So I'm interested in your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, I had a guy, he unfortunately turned down an offer a couple of weeks ago with one of my clients, and he was just one of those guys that I don't truly think he knew what he was looking for. And he's like, well, when I was at, company X, I had 25 days of PTO, and this job's only offering me 15. It's well, you're also with that company for 12 years, right? So yeah, it's well, can you go back and ask for 25 days? I'm like, I can certainly ask, but, you don't have the same equity, in the company. So
let's talk about that, right? So let's talk about there are things that can be negotiated and there's things that can't be negotiated. More times than not negotiated. In my opinion, usually PTO cannot be negotiated.
Very seldom do I. And
Very seldom.
It's like 2, maybe 3 days. Like I've seen 15, 18. It's like, all right.
Yeah. I mean, that's typically an HR thing that they have locked in with your tenure. So keep that in mind. Also, so we have base, we have bonus, right? Bonus.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about bonus.
Right. So, be realistic with that, right? If you're looking and you've only got bonus 1 out of 3 years, and that 1 year is $10,000, so you're averaging around $3,000 a year, right? So you need to keep that in mind as you're negotiating, right? Just because you got that 10K bonus, that's not really your bonus because you only got it 1 out of the last 3 years. It's really 3,000 because you got to average it out. But be mindful of your bonus, right? You got base, you got bonus, you got.
But I also hold on before you move. I think it's an important question that you can ask. Hey, what are you guys bonusing at? Right? Like, how does bonus work? Is it company bonus? Is it personal? Is it mixed? Right? Okay, perfect. Let's say it's mixed. Let's say it's 10% of your salary. It's 5 and 5. What does the average person make? Well, we've never hit our company like performance goals. We usually get 3 out of that 5%, and our company usually never gives the full 5 because you need to be, have X, Y, and Z checked off, and that's just a very unattainable thing. So now all of a sudden, somebody's saying, hey, your normal bonus will probably be in the 7% range. Again, good information to know, as most people budget bonuses as take-home income and not as a bonus. Remember, bonuses are discretionary, and bonuses should be considered a gift and icing rather than a part of your budgeting.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a few more people here, kind of throwing them up. So Bettina goes, if you don't want benefits, you can sometimes bump up your hourly rate. This has to be approached. Yeah, I mean, listen, we're talking about a little bit more. We're talking about a little bit more direct hire right now. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you want to do from an hourly perspective and you don't care about benefits, then yeah, I mean, that's something to talk to a recruiter about.
Taylor, have you ever heard that from a permanent side? Like, I mean, think about it, right? You're an employer. You're going to spend $15,000 to provide somebody health care. If you say, hey, I don't want your health care, I'm on my spouse's or whatever, I have my own through the ACA, whatever it might be. Do you think you could go back and offer and say, hey, I'm not interested in health care. Would you guys be willing to offer me $4,000?
I have not had experience with that from a salary perspective. I just haven't because again, it's a company thing, right? It's like that, but this is what we offer everybody. Like we can't opt out. I mean, it's an entire package. And so,
right? I've never. Yeah. Bettina, you have me thinking. I've never thought about it negotiating a perm offer.
Yeah.
Because
that's interesting. This is why we do this. This is why we do this.
It's pooled money, right? Like benefits are pooled company money. But if I can save you $15,000 in healthcare of what you would have provided me, can you pay me an additional $3,000? Right?
Yeah.
You're not going to pay the full 15, right? But
right. So let's see. Do you want to hit Andrew's?
Not yet.
Question.
So I want to talk about what are some of the other fringe benefits that you see that people
401k match.
Of. Yeah, 401k match. Most important thing, I think. Put money away for your 401k.
Say what?
I said put money away in your 401k. Take the match. Even if you think that you were going to take GME to the moon and you're going to take AMC to the moon, put that money. It's free money that's sitting out there. It's tax deferred. You're not going to see it. You don't have to worry about it. It puts money away.
Sure. All right. So my checklist that I have is salary, base, HSA.
Again, and a pre-tax benefit.
PTO and then benefit cost are like my main ones.
So what else do you see out there? I see tuition reimbursement. Tuition
reimbursement. And by the way, if you guys are watching this and so we're talking about, if you're just now tuning in, we're talking about benefits past the salary. So if you have had an offer for anything interesting from a benefit perspective, please add us, comment us. That's what we're talking about right now. But for me, I think one thing is you need to ask if there's a stipend or an expense to basically outfit your home office, right? I mean, let's face it. I mean, I don't know how long we're going to be remote, but I mean, I think moving forward, we're going to have more of a remote first culture. And so And so I think that's a question to ask. It's like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Manager, do y'all have a set policy for spend for at-home office? I think that would be a very good question to ask.
That's an incredible question to ask. I want to go back to, we kind of touched on it briefly about tuition reimbursement. I would learn a little bit more about that, right? What do I need to do to get reimbursed for tuition? Do I need to pay up front and then you guys reimburse me back? Do I just need to do the bursar statement and you guys reimburse? Do I need to get a certain grade, right? Some tuition is based on, hey, did you get a B or higher? Hey, if you get a C, we only reimburse you 50%. Realize that, oh, hey, we're going to give you $9,450 a year. If you're looking at a master's program or continuing education, whatever, program, figure out how you might be able to break that up. Maybe you can break it up over 3 years and you don't have to pay any out-of-pocket expenses.
Yeah.
Right? Advantage of what companies are offering.
So a lot of comments coming in, company bonus, individual performance, and company performance. I think that's a good one. So we were kind of talking about individual performance bonuses, or actually we were really just talking about bonuses in general. That's a good question. Company bonus and individual bonus.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are good. FSA versus HSA. I don't know the difference, but yes, FSA helps for young families.
FSAs expire. They're a yearly amount of money, and an HSA is money that will sit there. But they have to be used for healthcare related things only. FSAs have more flexibility.
I love it. But Tina goes, people don't realize that 401k through company, they can put more money in, and they just if they would like to just put money in on their own. Yeah, absolutely. I can't read this morning, but absolutely.
There's a individual contribution margin, or maximum, I think $19,500. That doesn't apply to what companies put in. So if you say, hey, I want to do 401k on my own, you're maxed out at $19,500 that you can put in. But if you put down $19,500 on your own and there's a company match of 3%, they can go above that amount.
Absolutely. Company stock. Think about that.
Know what your vesting, period is. Know how that comes out. Know how many shares. Know how shares get created. Are they real shares? Or are they fake shares? Right. There's a lot of times, especially when it comes to like startups and there's equity and everything else. Know what those 10,000 shares of stock actually, right? Yeah. And how quickly can they get diluted? Right. How many available shares are there? If I have 10,000, is there 1 million shares? Is there 10 million shares?
Yeah.
Is there a potential of 100 million shares, right?
Sure. A good gazillion. Tasha, profit sharing. Yeah. I haven't heard of many companies doing profit sharing in my neck of the woods, but
not here in Tampa either, but
yeah, but I think, hey, great questions, everybody. Well, let's hit Andrew as we kind of wrap up here.
Class B or GTFO, I love it, Andrew.
I like that. So the overall comp package is important, but equally balanced should be the culture fit. I look at 70-30 balance between the two. Emotional security and mental health have legitimate financial value as well. Yeah, Andrew just bringing the absolute heat this morning on that comment. So talk about that, Dan.
Yeah, no, I think that's such an important phrase, and the reason is because the amount of problems that can be caused from overworking, lack of sleep, stress, and anxiety, and all of these other things can have a deleterious effect on all of your other costs, right? Like your healthcare costs could go up. Your the money that you're spending in your HSA on prescription drugs could go up. Your ability to spend time with your family could go down. The ability to be able to separate yourself and miss your son's t-ball game or your daughter's ballet recital or softball game, whatever it is. Think about everything about the company, right? There's often times that $5,000 or $10,000 isn't really worth it. I mean, when you break down $5,000 as a pay bump, it sounds like a lot of money, and for a lot of people it is. And I'm not saying that it's not. But $5,000 a week after taxes, depending on where you're at, is about $70 a week, right? $60 a week, right? So is the stress and the anxiety that this is causing me worth that extra $60?
Absolutely.
Right?
Andrew goes
what
therapy
more
is
am I getting at? Right? Like that $60 a week, it covers 30 minutes with a therapist. A bad one, right?
Bad one. Yeah, not mine. Mine.
Yeah, mine the same. So think about what you're getting into. Read Glassdoor with a grain of salt, but talk to people that work there, right? Talk to recruiters that are in the area that know the business that you're working with. Look to see what is turnover, right? Just search that company name. How many people work there versus how many people used to work there? Think about the size of the company. This is a 200-person company, and you see like 900 people once worked there. Think about it, right? Reach out. Hey, what was your experience at Acme Widget Company like? Right? People are usually open to providing feedback if you come with, good, well thought out questions to do some fact finding. I've generally found people are nice.
I love that. Well, we will end on that note. Everyone, thank y'all again for tuning in to the Unicorn Finders. We are going to be live tomorrow. Please, put it on your calendar. Let's show Kelly Vaughn some love tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Central. Going live with her founder, CEO of an e-com Shopify startup in Atlanta. It's going to be a good one. Thank y'all for tuning in. Dan, as always, brother, it's so good to see you.
I love it.
And I'll see you tomorrow.
Can't wait.
Bye.